channel has been a long time coming, you guys. I have been waiting for angels, cherubims, seraphims, 24 elders, literally the heavenly host to come to my room and tell me start. Waiting for perfect conditions. But you know what? I realized that I have to start. And as we go on, we will find perfection if we would ever find it. But honestly, thank you so much for being here. My name is Eziaha, and on this channel, Your Best Life with Eziaha, we'll talk about three things basically: faith, family, and fitness. I love Jesus, hence the faith. I love my family, and of course, I love all things fitness. And you know what? I also love to write. So I have 3 different blogs that talk about these 3 different topics. So what we're going to do on YouTube is that we're going to bring all those conversations from the blog, especially those concepts that I feel like, hey, let's give some 3D context to it. So I'll bring it from the blog to YouTube. Or maybe some things I discuss on YouTube and I feel like, let's continue the conversation on the blog. I'll take it there. So the blogs and the YouTube channel are going to be working hand in hand to bring you amazing content that I hope brings joy and fulfillment to your faith life, to your family life, and of course to your fitness life. Ready? Let's go! Okay, so on my Stay Home Moms blog, I'm going to put the links to all my blogs below. On my Stay Home Moms blog, I did this post on 5 upgrades you can bring to the lifestyle of your children. And one of the concepts I talked about is quiet time. You know, not quiet time as in prayer and reading the word of God. That's really great, but that's not what I mean. What I mean by quiet time is literally quiet time, silent time, time without activity, time without assignment, time to do nothing. And I figured that, hey, let's have that conversation on YouTube. In fact, that was the post that made me do this YouTube video, because I just literally just felt the grace of God, and I'm like, you know what, Eziaha, jump in on this grace and do it. So here we are today. I want to talk about quiet time. If you want to introduce it to your children, because I think it's absolutely important, I just want to give you 5 things that would help you introduce it and also sustain it and win at it. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, number 1, please know your why. One of our major issues is that we just carry things that we saw someone doing and we just start to do. We don't necessarily know the why. So what happens is that you cannot sustain because your convictions are not deep. When you have knowledge, when you know the why, your convictions are deep, so you continue doing and doing and doing it. For example, my major why is that I want my kids to be able to go out with me, maybe to an adult place where they need to sit down and without any form of external stimulation, they can actually sit for a couple of minutes or an hour without jumping up and doing one thing or the other. That's really my major why. And I read this fantastic book by Juliet. Funt. I love her. Oh my gosh. A Minute to Think. I've talked about that book everywhere. A Minute to Think. And then she talks about white space, time without assignment. Those clear times on your calendar, your to-do list, your planners, where you're not doing anything. So you can use that time to think, to reflect, to strategize, to recuperate, to do, just do amazing things without necessarily too much activity. Gives your brain some time, literally a minute to think. So as an adult, it's so important. I figure that if I start with my kids now, as they grow into adults, it'll be easy for them. White space, quiet time, easy for them. And it has such great benefits. Number 2, normalize boredom. When you introduce quiet time to your children, it also helps them to normalize boredom. We have this notion that kids must be doing one activity or the other when they are awake. Sometimes they can just sit and do nothing. And you need to do some research on it, because even child psychologists tell us how boredom, inactivity, without external stimulation can really encourage the kids to start to be creative and use their imagination and start to think. So those quiet moments are really, really, really key for your children. It helps you normalize boredom. It helps them learn that boredom is normal. The 3rd thing is that as a mom, personally, it also gives me a minute to think. You know how your kids are always like, mommy, 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 mommy. My kids say mommy, mommy like 752 times per minute. So when I get them into a quiet time, which we can do several times a day, it gives me a minute to think. It gives me some time to do some things without interruptions. It gives me some time, even if it's just to rest, even if it's just to drink water and drop the cup, it just helps me. So as a mom, it really helps you when your kids get into quiet time several times a day. Now you're probably wondering, how do I do it? We bring you to my 4th point. Please introduce it gradually. How we started was we started with 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. I set a countdown timer. I don't just, maybe when they're doing something, I'll just want to say, oh yeah, time for quiet time. Oh yeah, 1 hour quiet time. No. I started with 10 minutes. And maybe they're doing something. I can be like, hey, In 5 minutes, you're going to get into a 10-minute quiet time, so get ready for it. You kind of prepare them for it, and you start to increase it as time goes on. So now my kids are up to 30 minutes, and I think 30 minutes is just fine for them. You're probably wondering, what do? They do nothing. They just sit, like you just sit. So they'll be twisting, they'll be turning, they'll be twiddling their hands, whatever. Just sit. At first, this is sleep off. But now they don't sleep off. They just sit and do nothing. Sometimes they want to read a book, and I tell them you have to read silently, literally in your mind, because it's supposed to be quiet time. So that's it. The timer is very key because they're looking at it go down. They start the countdown timer. They're looking at it go down. When the quiet time goes, they just jump up and oh god, it's a concept that they love, so they don't hate it. Which brings me to my 5th point. Please don't use it as a punishment tool. It is so tempting as a mom when your kids are shouting and cutting up, and you're like, you know what? Quiet time. No, quiet time is not nothing corner. Quiet time is normal. They didn't do anything bad. It is just normal. So don't use it as a punishment tool. In fact, you have to use it strategically. I use it strategically at home. So for example, they're playing, and after that they need to do homework. So I kind of use quiet time between those two activities. I don't let them move from activity to activity. Just a minute to think. And even as adults, you shouldn't move from activity to activity, meeting to meeting, task to task. A minute to think. So I give them that wedge of time. Quiet time from one activity to another, or maybe they finish eating. I know you want to, I have 2 boys, so to jump up and no. Quiet time after eating, then we can get into the next activity. So it's very strategic. You have to use it well. Okay. So here are the 5 points again. Number 1, know your why. Number 2, it helps them normalize boredom, which helps them create. Number 2, it helps them. Number 2, it helps them normalize boredom, which gives them an opportunity for creative thinking, using their imagination and all of that. Number 3, literally gives you as a mom a minute to think. Too much activity, everybody should calm down so that you can think. Number 4, introduce it gradually. And number 5, don't use it as a punishment tool. So baby, definitely. How would you be introducing quiet time to your kids? What step are you going to be doing? How are you going to be? Have you been doing it? Has it worked for you? It has really worked for me, and I really love it. So let me hear from you, comment section and all that. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited. I can't believe I'm finally doing this. The actions I've given myself on this one is I'm thankful that I'm doing it. I'm thankful that you're here. And by God's grace, we'll have regular content every week. So you want to chat with us, follow, like, subscribe, share. I can't believe I'm saying this. Okay, really, thank you. And I'll see you in my next video. And hey, if there's something you want to talk about, like I said, you have to read the blog because the blog has fantastic things. 5 upgrades that you can make to your kids, and the 3 blogs really have fantastic things, and I tend to share things in 5s. So you want to check it out so that this video makes more sense, and then you can even learn. I want us to win. I want us to win in our faith. I want us to win in our family life. I want us to win in our fitness life, and really do it with joy. That's my theme. Joy. We have to enjoy. You have to live your best life with joy. So I want to thank you so much for riding with me, and I'll see you in my next video. God bless you. Bye. How many minutes is this?